Somebody might take that and say, all right, I got to go work out. I got to go really practice my positioning and my poses with more intensity. I've got to really be more aware of what muscles I'm not using when I'm resisting gravity. I've got to really be aware of whenever I'm light on my toes, and I've got to figure out a better way of getting to that point. That's a pretty healthy approach in that it's stimulating greater commitment on this to achieve the goal of more perfectly utilizing the body and blood and muscles all that I am to resist the force of gravity. The better I am at that, the better my internal self must be operating. The better I must be at massaging my internal organs with my respiratory system. The better my heart and cardiac system must be at pumping blood. If you're on one end of the spectrum, if you're hyper intelligent, but you're inactive, you need to get more active and stay hyper intelligent. Continue to discover and build on these principles of once you start using the Euthrones, once you start to consciously contract and relax specific parts of your body such that your ideas and the clarity with which you think and move is so choreographed and so predetermined that one could watch you and say, wow, he's dancing through life. He's dancing while he's driving, because I can look at him and I can tell that his body is moving in unison. Everything is capable of being still or curving and contracting. When it's doing that, you're pumping. That's how your musculature can support your heart. This is why exercise and cardio is good for your heart. What does that mean? It means that you're constantly using the rest of your body to move blood throughout your system, which is what your heart does. So the heart's saying, hey, can you help me out, body? And we're saying, with the mind controlling it, because the environment is not going to bring about a burglar. We don't have to go out and hunt every day. So we don't have to use those calories. And in fact, we can easily, excessively use those because the complexities are not being synthesized with such that there's a clarity, such that there's some aspect of the culture that we can use to make sense of the chaos and complexity. Without that, we become too stressed, we overeat, we overdrink, we oversmoke, we over everything. And we get out of balance. Anytime something is underutilized or overutilized, you're out of balance. The Euthrones are that daily return to a physiology that's balanced, constant contact that is long, and linear, but also curving and expansive. Because those are both formations that the body is capable of making. We're the only creature that can consciously control that. We're so fortunate. We really are. We're so fortunate. If I had an audience of 7 billion here in front of me, I would say that. I would stand up here and I would say the same things that I'm saying to you, to all of them. And I'd offer to build them all youth thrones. I'd offer to, take this curriculum and test it. I don't need to even create a textbook. You create your textbook. I'm just creating the table of contents. Follow these rules, follow these principles, and discover for yourself what you can do with them. Because a gymnast is going to find some awesome way of using these that I could never have imagined. A basketball player is going to find some way to use these in their performance and in their lives that I could never have imagined. A hockey player, a ping pong player, a nuclear physicist is going to be contemplating problems and solutions that I could never contemplate unless I was a nuclear physicist, unless I was an engineer. And I want the Youth Thrones to be a part of that. Why? Because I believe that they make everything just a little bit better. Your thoughts, your creativity, your aspirations, your fears, they're all going to be amplified and lessened. You're going to have fewer fears. You're going to have a little bit less anxiety. You're going to have a greater capability of dissipating it by the formations and the ideas and the different techniques that you use in your life. You treat your life as if it were your workout. Does that make sense? Every moment is a moment in which you can be flexing or relaxing. Oxygenating. Pushing this blood through your body. You can be an active contributor to your own enhancement. I know that's something that sounds as if it's something that we take for granted, and it is. Of course we can take action. Of course we can be conscious choreographers of how we use our body. What I would say to that is, yes, you have been, you always will be. Consciously breathing is different than unconsciously breathing, because that means that you're coordinating how your body expands, what sectors expand. You're allocating a lot of resources to understanding how to sense these changes and these different expansions and reactions. Conscious choreography dovetails with that. You start in meditation, you start in a stable position. But then once you start to practice Tai Chi, once you start to move in accord with your dimensions and the transference of energy from these positions that are in contact with the body, thus they're points of origin for these movements, above, below. Remember, you're keeping your spine aligned and as long as possible. What you're looking at, what you're doing with the internal contractions of your tongue and your eyes, do not forget about them. They are absolutely essential for truly aligning your body. You have to determine what amount of contraction or relaxation should determine where you position your tongue, what you're gazing at. There is a perfectly aligned point of neural commands that dictate a particular combination of contractions that align the blood vessels that get the fluids to your eye, that remove them as quickly and as efficiently as possible. That's based on everything that you consumed and all of the the nutrients and how they've been built over the years and how efficiently your body has evacuated the toxins and everything that can have a negative impact on your circulatory system and your cellular operations. It's going to only be as good as you can be. But that's always pretty dang good. Whatever you are a pretty powerful animal. Even if you're not one of the best humans, you can still get better. You can still start from zero. And if you've changed your sensibilities such that all of these new movements and these new ways of using your time and your concentration and your ability to relax and to consciously choreograph these movements such that you're moving the blood, you're moving the nutrients, you're moving the toxins out, you're moving the fluids in conjunction with your heart. Such that you can discover ways in which you can initiate these movements with different sectors of your body. The more aware you become of that, the more empowered you are to stimulate energy when you need it, to shut it down when you don't. How do you go to sleep when you want to? How do you accelerate that process of transitioning from an awakened state of mind to a deep sleep state of mind as efficiently as possible? How do you not toss and turn and thus get another hour and a half of helpful regenerative sleep? That is a process that we should all go into as earnestly as we possibly can. You can move everything this way. You can move your sacrum. You can move your thoracic vertebrae. You can move your cervical vertebrae. The higher up you go, the smaller those movements become until you're up just at your eyes. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been somewhat helpful. Even if you just watch this and you just kind of try to mirror me, eyes open, eyes closed. Feel it. Some muscles you're going to have to consciously activate. Why? Because internally, maybe your ribs haven't grown that way such that you can consciously move that as well as you can this other sector. That's another one of the benefits. It brings about this awareness of your internal asymmetries. which informs the way that you do everything else from that point forward. Which is going to be more balanced because you have a greater awareness of the connections from your toes to the crown of your head. Why? Because you started in contact. You started along these meridians and you've expanded your muscles from the core out. Anytime you come into contact, and then once you change the speed of the expansion and the way that it's expanding or retracting, that changes the expansiveness of the breath inside, which can be used to alter or to counteract whatever natural asymmetry you have. If you don't know the asymmetry, then you can't counteract it, and thus you can't heal from whatever problems it's caused you. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope this has been kind of like a workout video, a workout for your physiology, for your philosophical approach to life. These are just my thoughts. You know, if you're watching, thank you. You're on the team, you know, and get at me. You know, take some measurements. Let's talk. Let's take some pictures, you know, from the side, from the front. Let me analyze them. And I promise you, I can make a U-throne that works for you. I promise. It's something that I want to do because I want somebody to either refute these or affirm them. I want you or somebody to actually test what I'm saying and I'm submitting as being true. And I can't do that unless you take the measurements and tell me. So I hope to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Let's make this happen. Bye. See you next time.